Hello, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen. How are you feeling? How are you feeling on this beautiful Thursday? So, for two of us here in South Africa, is already evening, and then for my two beautiful guests from Canada and USA, they are in the afternoon. And I've got beautiful Katie here. Hello, Katie, all the way from the Diamond Beauties. So, my beautiful ladies from the Diamond Beauties, remember we are a private group. So, put your name in front or your name at the back if your name doesn't appear, and then we can see who is giving us love. So, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen, all the viewers out there, what does confidence mean for you? What does confidence say to your confidence? I know that sounds strange, but I certainly believe when you love yourself and you make a promise to yourself and you keep your promise, it shows that you are the most important person in your life. Then your confidence will just you uplift your confidence. So today I'm going to have three beautiful gentlemen. It's my first time I have three gentlemen. All three gentlemen is amazing. I've got Gordon, he is from Canada. He's got an amazing men's group all over the world. Then I've got beautiful Jeremy, he's from the USA. He's got as well a men's group all over the world. And then I've got beautiful Cobus from South Africa, and he as well has men's group all over the world. So I cannot wait for you to meet all of them. And I'm sure I told my beautiful Diamond Beauties, ladies, the reason why this show is so special, because most of us have gentlemen in our life, or have a brother or a father or a fiance or a boyfriend or a husband. And by bringing these beautiful men all over the world to help other men, I think today they must get their husbands in front of the TV and on the laptop so that they can come and view, because we're going to get golden nuggets from these three beautiful gentlemen. So, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? We're going to take 3 deep breaths and then we are here in the present moment. Are you ready? Here we go. Another one in. Last one. I am going to play a video from E360 TV. I just want to say thank you to the President, Aaron Hames, and his beautiful team that is giving us this amazing platform for us to introduce our beautiful guests and to bring our message across. So if you're ready, I am ready. Here we go. Here are my guests. Here are my guests, my beautiful guests. So, my beautiful guests, the ladies are very excited to have all of you. There was a buzz in the Diamond Beauties from yesterday. And I just want to say thank you, my beautiful Gordon. I didn't even see it say Sunday on the flyer, and you saw it. I was like, I had to change it. But the date is right. So I want to say thank you for letting me know. And the person that does the artwork felt so embarrassed because he never made a mistake. And I am with him now since the beginning of January. So I never even looked there when you said, what about son? I thought maybe I did something wrong. So I want to say thank you. So before I start with Jeremy, I am going to quickly say, Kathy says, hello, gentlemen. Like I said, everybody is so happy that you are here, all three of you. My beautiful Jeremy, if I can start with you, can you please introduce yourself and then tell us what confidence means for you?
Sure, absolutely. Well, first, Sanet, thank you for the opportunity to be here. I know Gordon, and this is my first time interacting with Corbus, so I am excited to see where the conversation goes. And just quickly about me, I do a lot of things for a lot of people in a lot of places. I've been working with people 3 to 94 for almost 30 years in various contexts. So, do a lot to help people reduce suffering, take control of their stories, take control of their games. And when we talk about confidence, confidence in my experience is at the result of some other stuff. So I start with a simple definition, and it's self confidence. Self confidence is when I have the strength to believe in myself and my hopes, dreams, goals, and abilities. And that's counterbalanced against false confidence, which is when I need someone or something to believe in myself first. Then I'll believe in myself, my hopes, dreams, goals, abilities. So that false confidence could be somebody else's encouragement. It could be a relationship. It could be a style of clothing. It could be a brand. It could be anything other than you simply relying on yourself. Not that that's a bad thing, because sometimes we need people to see things in us that we don't see in ourselves. So sometimes we need that false confidence to get us to do new things that feel out of our comfort zone, that might actually be in our gift zone or our growth zone. And so false confidence isn't a bad thing. But do you want to be 85 and you still need people to believe in you before you can believe in yourself? Or do you want to have that resolved a little bit younger than that? And that's the question for everyone's personal growth. So that's me.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, my beautiful Jeremy. So, my beautiful Gordon, can you please introduce yourself? And I must just say, after our last session, it was just the other day, not even 3 weeks ago, the ladies loved you. They loved your beard. So today I've got two gentlemen with two beards. I don't know what they're going to tell us after the show. But if you can please introduce yourself and then also tell us what confidence means for you.
I can do that. It's great to be back with you and your ladies. Enjoyed the time last time. We had such a good talk. So I'm Gordon Melville. I'm from Ontario, Canada. I am a resiliency and legacy mentor, is a strategist type person. Yep, I'm same as Jeremy, all over the place. I work with primarily entrepreneurial men and pro athletes. It was Papa put pro athletes in front of me and brought them across my path. So now I'm was picked up this year actually, just for this coming season for to be the mentor, mindset energy coach for a pro basketball team, which is very exciting. And but I have my own podcast, live radio show and TV show that goes out on more than 450 platforms globally every week. So that's been amazing. And as far as confidence, I would echo what Jeremy said in terms of, it's something that I think for me, it's born out of what we believe our worth and value is I think where that starts. Because if I don't believe I'm worth it, if I don't believe if I'm lacking somehow, I'm not enough somehow, then to his point, I'm going to be looking to other people to validate me. I'm looking to other people, and that may be a good place to start to get myself going, using somebody else's confidence in me to get that ball rolling. But at some point, as he said, at some point I got to pick it up and do it myself. At some point I have to be able to understand and to step into that empowerment and be able to go, you know what, I can do this. I have the confidence to know. But then as the activities start to grow and we start to do, right? You and I talked a lot last time about the difference between being and doing. But once I do it, even though I'm scared, right? The whole courage thing. It's not that we don't have fear, it's that we're afraid and do it anyway. But once we do that a few times, we build and build and build and build and build. That's where that confidence is coming from. So once I realize, hey, you know what? I can do this. That's not scary. I'm still alive. It didn't kill me. So that continues to roll. And then depending on where that goes, if we go too far with that confidence, then there's an arrogance on the other end of that spectrum, right? There's a piece where we go, hey, wait. When we look at somebody and go, hey, I'm Gordon Melville, and you really want to get to know me, might be a little bit too far in terms of confidence, right? We start to get into an arrogant area, and that's not good. So we'd be able to pull that back. And a lot of times, I think that arrogance, when we push that confidence into that space, is a coping mechanism because we don't feel like we're enough. It's not a confidence thing. It's a lack of confidence thing. And so we're putting that out there to try and protect ourselves. So that's kind of where I would start anyway.
Wow, that's amazing. And can I just ask on your hat, and I love your hat, the poppy on your hat, is that representative of
Remembrance Day. Yeah.
I thought so, yeah.
I'm got a real soft spot for people that are willing to stand on the wall to protect us. And so Remembrance Day is a very hallowed day for me. So I talk about it on my podcast every single week. It's Red Fridays. My show is on Fridays. So RED, Red, remember everyone deployed. So
I loved it. Thank you so much. Before I go to Cobus, I just want to say a lady from the Diamond Beauty said, "Hello, gentlemen." And then she gave us another answer net. And then another lady said is a fellow Canadian. How amazing. Amazing. So my beautiful Cobus, I know you personally. I have danced with you in person. I have attended some of your firewalks. Wow, amazing. And I made you a beautiful blanket, a handmade crochet blanket. So for me, it was just an honor when I asked you if you could be on the show with my two other amazing gentlemen, and you said yes. I was so, so happy. So please, if you can introduce yourself and tell us what confidence means for you.
Thank you, Sanet. And I'm known as Cobus Visser the Viking. I even have I love the Viking energy and methodology. A little bit about me, as most of you probably hear with my accent, I'm not from the US or Canada. I'm born and bred South African, and very proud Springbok fan, as for those who don't know, won the World Championships just the other day and was against all odds. Now, some of the things that I do is I work on team performance culture, almost like my friend Gordon, where I help businesses to reach exponential results by creating the right team environment. And I also love working with sports teams. So I need to come visit you, Gordon, so we can help those basketball players take it next level. Now, that is one of my passions. The other part of my passions is walking over fire. 500 to 600 degrees Celsius. Now, I've done that now more than 2,000 times myself. My little boy, 2.5, is one of the youngest that we know of that walked over fire. So it's an amazing experience. Now, for those who don't know, just a little bit about me, is that I was born as a hemophiliac. Now, what a hemophiliac means, it's a bleeder. It means my blood doesn't clot very easily. And because of all the bleeding disorder, I have to get injections every few days to help with the clotting of the blood. And because of that, I don't have joints anymore. Because of the bleedings in the joints, my joints are sort of disintegrated. And, my elbows can't go straight. I don't have muscles. So, and in 2015, I ended up being in a wheelchair, can't walk for more than 2 years. The doctor said, Cobus, this is your reality. We have to fuse your ankles. We have to replace your elbows. It's at least going to take the pain away. And I realized at that time, being challenged by my coach, I can either accept that reality or I can change that reality. And so part of confidence for me is about faking it as well. Faking it as if you already have it into the now, even though you don't have it yet, to create that fake confidence so that you can become that confidence. Now, part of my formula that I share is the formula that everything starts with a belief that impacts our thoughts, that is being impacted again by our words. Now, this is where I believe we can fake it, because through our words, because life and death is in the power of the tongue, and those who love to use it will bear the fruit of it. Whatever we speak life or death, starts influencing our thoughts and what we think about, right? And what we visualize. And through that, we change our beliefs. So whatever belief is that you want to create, you do it through the words. However, the thing is, then you still have to act. You still have to put it in action. You can't just say it and think it. It's like the law of attraction. You say it, you think it, you think it's going to happen. However, if you never take the action, it's not going to happen. And that's why I love the part of walking over fire is, the fire is real. It's 500 to 600 degrees Celsius. I think it's about probably 2000 Fahrenheit for our American friends. But I know it's high. And it's impossible supposed to be able to walk over it. Now, you have to influence your mind, as Sanet, you remember when you came, you just not just walk over the fire. You have to build in that self-confidence. So the first challenge is to take that first step. However, the whole process that we go through is how do we impact the mind through our words, our thoughts, our visualization, to challenge those beliefs so that when we're in front of that fire, we can take that step of faith. However, if you keep taking that action one step after another and you walk over that fire and you look back, suddenly that have been embedded into you as a person. And suddenly you can look back and say, that was so easy. Guess what? You have more confidence walking it again. And this is how I believe, yes, you either have confidence or you can fake it and create that confidence. And before you know it, you are confident. And like Gordon said, there's a fine line. And just to be careful, always have humility in your confidence as well.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm going to talk a little bit more about your Kilimanjaro, if you don't mind me talking about that. I will be coming back to you, but I've got a message here from Werner. It says, "Hi, all you awesome people." That's amazing. Thank you so much, my beautiful Cobus. So, Jeremy, if I can come back to you. So you said you were helping from 3-year-old till 93. So can you please explain how you help the youth and then the adults, if I can call it like that?
Yeah. Well, in my world, everybody's somebody's kid, right? All human beings play games. All human beings tell stories, and there's no escaping that. So, the story we tell becomes the reality that we create, becomes the belief system. It becomes the self-fulfilling prophecy. So, when I ran my martial arts school, I would start with kids as young as 3. We're teaching gross motor skill. We're teaching basic coordination, but more importantly, we're teaching is body autonomy. Right? Nobody has a right to touch you without your permission, how to assert and respect boundaries, how what you say matters, and people need to act or react to the things you say. And if they don't, they're telling you, are they a safe person or not so much? And really teaching kids about how to assert their own, how to create their own emotional safety, because nobody can make you feel bad without your permission. And if you just don't give them that permission to offend you or upset you, then all of a sudden the mean stuff they say to you, it's just a reflection of where they are and what they're feeling. And it's like not letting the water get inside the boat, right? That's what makes a boat float, is the space inside. So if you can stay warm, big, and happy, and someone offers you the opportunity to feel small, sad, cold, you don't have to pick that up. And so you give that idea to a kid, it's like, ooh, I have a lot more cause versus living at effect. And so it's a way for them to get more control. And so that's, even at 3 years old, hey, take a deep breath. It's okay. I see you're upset. Just breathe for a second. You're talking too fast. I can't keep up. I need you to slow down so that I can stay with you. Please take a deep breath. And so we're teaching the kids how to start regulating themselves. And then yes, sir, yes, ma'am, no, sir, no, ma'am is a way to practice our self-control, because I can't see it except when you do it. And so there's a couple little vehicles and tools. I have a whole program to kind of help support parents to make that stuff happen with their kids.
Wow, that's amazing. And my beautiful Jeremy, the day that we talked, we had our coffee chat. I'm sorry, but I was hanging on your lips. I promise you, I was hanging on your lips because there's so many groups out there for women. I have a beautiful group, Diamond Beauties Forever. But you are really going the extra mile to tell gentlemen and help gentlemen. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I have a program, basically Unstoppable Masculine. And it's not to say that, as a man, as a masculine person, as a force of energy, as power, that's not to say that we run roughshod, right? That was Gordon's comment about the arrogance side. If you know who and what you are, it's like the sun shining, right? The sun doesn't shine and then look at the earth and go, hey, you owe me. Hey, you didn't say thank you. Hey, you didn't acknowledge me. The sun's going to follow its own nature. Whatever the earth does, whatever the moon does, cool. We're in relationship. We're in concert. We're in flow. That's awesome. But I have my own nature that I'm going to follow. And so to get somebody to that place, that's what I call the unstoppable masculine, because you know the gift that you're here to give to the world, whether they are open to receiving it or not. It's a give and receive. It's not a give and take. It's not a push. It's not a force. It's just cool, cool. This is alignment. Awesome. Let's go further, farther, faster. And it's not alignment. Awesome. Thank you for the feedback. Right. I had a friend of mine put a post out today on social media about no is not the end of the negotiation. It's the first step. And I put in context. I was like, well, in dating, marriage, relationship, no does mean something. And I have a bunch of people pushing back. Well, you should have known the context. It should have been obvious. I'm like, but you didn't say in sales. You didn't say in marketing. You just made a statement. And as somebody who works with people who've been through trauma, I know the defensiveness is going to show up. And then I've got people pushing back on me. Oh, you're so complaining. You're being a Karen. You're doing, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of projection. Fantastic. And they keep trying to define what I'm saying. And I'm like, I can speak for myself. Thank you. I'm not overreacting. I'm just commenting. Thank you. Like, I'm just refusing to allow them to take that space because it's fine. I'm not going to play fault, blame, guilt, shame. I'm not going to project. I'm just going to take the words as they're written and go with it. And that's the idea, that masculine presence. I'm here with you in this conversation. You want to throw more stuff at me? Awesome. I can identify that and not get caught up in it. Have a nice day.
Wow. I'm going to read you now, Kathy Nesbitt. She's from Canada, her message again. So I just want to say, you came to the show early in May. And since the day that I had a coffee chat with you, it was my dream to have a gentleman show. And can you believe it? Now I have a gentleman show today. It's amazing. So Kathy says she is our happiness expert in the Dharma Beauties. She also has her own laughter club every Tuesday. Anybody can join. And she's a half an hour. She's teaching you to have fun, do some tapping, do some breathing with laughter. So she said, look at all these heroes. Oh. Hello, Sanet. Gordon, Jeremy, and Cobus. And Jeremy, Gordon, you have met Kathy already, so you know Kathy. And she said, unstoppable masculine. She loves it. Oh, wow. Amazing. Thank you, my beautiful Jeremy. Gordon, so please tell us a little bit more about your gentlemen's group and how do you serve so many people across the world?
Thank you for the opportunity. You know what? I run a program called, I run a bunch of programs, but there's another one coming called Rise, which will be a membership, men's membership group, invite only, men only, to create a safe space for us to be able to talk and interact and be ourselves in a space where we know it's safe and we're loved and not judged. That's coming. So stay tuned for that. But right at the moment, I run a program called Boxed Inside Out. That's not a outside the box thinking. It's burn the box, eradicate the box. There's no box. Just because, guys, we tend to do a thing with our emotion where we either, because we were taught not to do it, not to deal with it. Don't look weak. Don't cry. And so we push it down. It doesn't matter how much pain we're in. It doesn't matter how much it hurts. Society basically says, you know what, we don't care. Cowboy up and just show up and be what we need you to be. And because of that, we weren't taught tools to be able to deal with that. Some of the things that Jeremy's talking about, he's equipping children with tools to be able to step into their own empowerment, to be able to step into what they know, what they learn to know, to be able to deal with life. Instead of, because guys tend to do one of two things with our emotion. We either push it down inside of us, which we hold that dis-ease in our bodies, which makes us sick, or we put it in a box and we put it on a shelf because we were taught not to deal with it. Either way, the coping mechanism, because we have residual pain from those emotions, we don't know what to do with. So we're trying to dull the pain. So we drink, gamble, drugs, porn, whatever. The point is, now I have a vice on top of the problem because I don't know what to do with the emotion and the pain. And so I teach tools and strategies to be able to deal with that stuff in a way that we have emotion for a reason, acknowledge it's there, but then have a sort of a frozen moment and let it go, right? Just release it. Don't hold on to it. Don't Don't let it sit. I think a lot of times we do a thing where if I reach out to Jeremy and go, hey, you know, I'm struggling, can I call you and vent? Even if Jeremy's having a tremendously horrible day, he's going to say yes to me because he wants to be helpful. Whether Jeremy is trained, and I know he is, but a lot of guys, most guys are not. So for me to be able to reach out to him, and I refer to it as peeing into somebody's brain, because what I'm doing is just dumping my crap onto him, right? If he doesn't know what to do with that, he's going to take that on, and
Yes.
he's going to carry that. And a lot of times when we vent, if he happens to know the people that I'm venting about, I'm going to sanitize it to take the names out so that he doesn't know who I'm talking about. And if I'm really angry or frustrated, I may even sanitize the language I'm using because I don't want him to look at me differently. Right. Right. So I'm not really venting the way I need to get it all out anyway. Right. So it's not, I think, and again, to be able to teach guys ways to deal with that in a way that releases it on our own. And if I try, and it's not having one or two ways, we're trying to get guys to understand it's kind of like buying insurance. You need to do it when you're healthy, because when you're not healthy, you don't qualify. We need to put the tools in our tool belt to deal with this stuff when we're healthy and doing well. Because if we don't, when we get into a space where we're not well, it's very difficult to deal with that and find the proper tools. And not just to have one or two tools, because what works this time may not work the next time. I need as many tools as I can get into my tool belt, new ones, to be able to deal with stuff. And so, you know, and I have 3 teenage sons. What works for me may not work for them. So again, I'm always trying to put new tools in. And one of the things that after our conversation, or just before our conversation the last time, I had a lady say to me, hey, I know you work with men, but would you consider doing a box inside out for women? And I'm like, well, that's not my avatar. And they challenged me. Yeah, we know, but can you? I'm like, oh man. Okay. So I agreed to do that. So I'm halfway through a 6-week program, a BISO program with women, which has been incredible for me to learn and grow, because I'm adding some new tools that they knew that they use, has allowed me to learn and to be just continually adding tools, so that I'm always have some more stuff to be able to share with people. To something Jeremy and Cobus had talked about in terms of the way we talk to ourselves, the things we say, those empowerment, they call it spelling. We call it spelling when we write. Why? Because we're putting a spell. We can put a spell on ourselves or on other people by the way we talk, and the words that we use can really seriously influence, positive or negative, right? That's the legacy I talk about, right? We think of legacy as an end of life thing, but it's not. It's just what we've poured into people. It on a day, we do that every day without realizing we're pouring into them. And so that legacy piece around how we sell or spell, how we talk, does that make somebody feel good and positive and uplifted when I leave them, or do they leave that interaction in a negative or a downplayed somehow? So being awareness, right, is a big deal for me. Being aware of where I am, but having some situational awareness of what's going on around me, what people are dealing with around me as well. And for Cobus, as opposed to fake it, I use the word faith in there, Faith, faith it till you make it. Then there's a belief factor in there, right? It's not fake, it's real, but I'm using some faith instead of, that way there's integrity to it too.
I love it. And the first time we had a coffee chat, my beautiful Gordon, can you remember I cried at the end? I said, I've got my beautiful Jeremy's partner for my men's show. I was like so excited. I said, but I don't know when it's going to be because I need a third gentleman. So when I saw Cobus live, he just before he went on stage, I asked him, I said to him, oh, Cobus, I've got 2 amazing gentlemen. Will you also join? And he said yes. And I was like, oh, I was so excited. But I just want to say to you, Gordon, you are truly amazing. Everything you do, everything you touch is amazing. I watched a few of your shows as well. It was breathtaking. So thank you so much. I've got a message for you. Kathy says, thank you for the efforts, amazing men. We need more men, more than ever. Men need you. So grateful Sanet is giving you a stage to share your message. And then she said she was frozen. Frozen moment. Oh, let it go. Oh, she's not frozen. She said, you said frozen, let it go. Oh, goodness. Okay, that's wonderful. And then I've got faith is until you make it. So great. Oh, wow. That's also Kathy. And then I love you interaction as well, Quiver. She said, love is faith in action, Gordon. Wow, amazing. I've got a long message from Naeem. Oh, she is such a beautiful lady. She said, it's amazing to know there are groups for men. People tend to forget that men have emotions as well. Men have grown to learn how not to be vulnerable because society teaches us that men don't cry. But in fact, just like women, men are human. Emotions were meant to be expressed. Oh, wow, I loved it. Emotions were meant to express and through how to regulate. Amazing discussion, guys. Oh, thank you, my beautiful Naeem. Please send greetings to Emmanuel. And then Werner has got a message. Let us see what Werner say. Jacobus person. Well, I know that's your Facebook page, but he said, awesome, dude. We chat soon. We'll put our hands together, eye to eye. Wow, amazing. And here is a lady from the Diamond Beauties. Love it, faith it, Gordon, faith it. I wish the men in my life could see this. So powerful and humbling. And can I just tell you, my beautiful Diamond Beauties, this recording will be on the YouTube channel. And you can send them because I know in a private group you will not able to share this, but go to the YouTube and you can share it. You can share it. That's the reason for me to have the gentleman on. And then Jeremy, feel free to share the clip. I will. Well, can I just tell you, my beautiful gentleman, that you were the first guest that's also interacting. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, my beautiful Quibus, if I can come to you, I would love you to tell us the story about your challenge that you have done. And then when you finish with that, will you please tell us what are you doing for men all around the world, please?
Thank you, Sanet. Yeah, part of my journey was when I ended up being in a wheelchair and couldn't walk. The doctor said, Cobus, replace your ankles and your elbows, and that's about a 2-year journey, rehabilitation, etc. And the potential of not being able to walk again is over 90%. So I could either accept that as my reality or change it. And I was challenged by my coach to get a dream so big that it scares me. And one thing about what I love about the Viking energy is about becoming fearless and courageous in times of when you need it most. And I faced it, and I one night was looking at a show of a South African in a wheelchair climbing the mountain Kilimanjaro, and I for fun said maybe I should go climb Kilimanjaro. Maybe I shouldn't go with my wheelchair, but I can get crutches. Those like extra legs underneath your elbows, so you can lean on it and you can walk. And I'm like, it's a small mountain; it could be easy. However, when I got there and I looked up, I realized it's not such a small mountain. And it took a lot of challenge for me to get up to that mountain, pushed myself. And I remember at one point just sitting just before the top, looking at the highest sunrise in Africa. I was about to give up. I couldn't breathe. I had altitude sickness. And one of my good friends, Will Butler, sits next to me, and we just sit in awe of this beautiful sunrise. So it's almost like that saying that, remember, the sun will come up. No matter how dark days are, after walking more than 12 hours in darkness, the sun did come up. And I remember him saying, Cobus, let's go down. You don't have to push yourself to death. And I said, oh, man, no, you should go climb it for us. At least do that. Afterwards, I found out he said he actually wanted to go down, but, because I convinced him, he went up. But before he went up, he gave me a hug and he made eye contact. And, in South Africa, we say sawubona. If you love Avatar, for example, it means I see you. Just for that moment to see someone eye to eye. And the next step was we hugged, but we hugged heart to heart. I think Gordon and someone said that, men have been brought up to be strong and cowboys don't cry, etc. So we want to be tough. You can see it through when men hug or greet, their hearts are far apart. And what I teach men is to open up your hearts and have heart to heart connection. And when you hug, is then you breathe in together. Now, if you do that for 20 seconds or longer, your brain releases serotonin. So it makes you feel good as well. And so he gives me my hug. He stands back. He says, Cobus, just remember why you came to climb this mountain. Just remember your why. And he left. And I was sitting there remembering my why. And suddenly I had more energy than ever to push through to get to the top of the mountain. And that's one thing that I realized, is that we need that support structure. We need that support environment where people believe in us and show us that belief. And we are seen. Part of my journey is because I've faced my whole life with mental health challenges and depression and suicide thoughts, wanting to take my life a few times. I realized that it is up to me to change it, and that the world has become such a point where it's so focused, and nothing against the ladies, but women empowerment and women this and women that, that in a sense with the world that we as men have been left behind. And and it's in a sense we sort of lost my belief, my perception, my truth, a little bit of our masculinity, and for standing up what is right. And that's why I love what Gordon has with his red poppy, is the people that were willing to give up their lives. Now, isn't that what we need again in today's times? And so part of my journey was called the Viking Wolf Pack for men, is creating a community for men to come together where we challenge each other to become men again. The whole experience is not just to sit around a fire to share heart-to-heart stories, but it's to do experiential experiences, from a cigar and whiskey experience to going to the racetrack and see racing cars drive and maybe go race in a car as well. Like Jeremy, go to visit a dojo, get guys exercising, and then later on, the guys, okay, now you have to practice what you've learned one-on-one in the ring, And because our men, we need to feel that adrenaline. Even though I can't fight, I'm the big cheerleader. It's to get back into our essence and who we really are, your essence as an individual, because not everyone is the same. So that's why the different experiences. And through that, get guys to start talking again and start having dreams and beliefs and the support. Because, man, when someone believes in you, there's nothing that can stop you, and you can conquer the highest mountains in front of you. However, you have to create that community where there is that support, where there's people and let's say men that just doesn't ask you how are you or how's it going, where you just have a normal generic answer, it's okay, thank you. No, I see you. What's happening? Where are you? Working on that feeling and asking more than deeper question. I remember one facilitation, and I got the guys to share a little bit with their buddies certain questions that I chose. And as these questions were shared afterwards, the feedback was, the guy says, I know my buddy now for more than 30 years. I never knew this is how he feels and how he sees the world. It's like I was blown away. And he said, like, I realized I don't know my best buddy, and that's the thing. It's like, stop being so on top. Let's go deep, let's be there. So that's part of the journey to help guys to do that. And like Gordon, I've also been challenged, and I believe it's not just for men. It's actually society. It's even the women as well. Even our children is to create it. Like Jeremy was from young people to older people. We all need this. We all need actually this support. We all need to know how to step into our masculine energy, but at the same time into our feminine energy, and have that balance and combination of becoming whole and complete in ourselves, so that we don't need other people to make us whole and complete, so that we can give from a full cup back to the world and impact the world. And in a sense, that's how it was born. And it's just amazing through this last year, how through processes like this, that 4 men that wanted to commit suicide had the guts, because of this process and this journey, to pick up the phone and says, I never do this, but if I don't talk to someone today, today is my last day. And to know that those guys were saved. And today, the one has a girlfriend, is about to get married. The other one is happy, just found a work. He was without work. It's all of this. Suddenly, these guys' world has changed because they were willing to reach out. But they wouldn't reached out if someone didn't create the place and safe space for them to be able to reach out. And and I think, yeah, I think Sanet, and we have all been called and I mean this is why we are here as gentlemen and a beautiful princess, is that we are here to impact the world. And I think my one message is for us, as, in a sense, for men, is to stand up as king, warriors, and priests again, to stand up for what is right, to stand up for, and this is why I love the Vikings. You know, there's the 9 values of a Viking. It is about honor, it's about truth, fidelity, discipline, action, perseverance. It's all about standing up for these values and being able, you know, one thing that I've come up lately and that I'm busy looking at how to address is how many men are not supporting their children and ex-wives or ex-partners, you know, and it's so sad, and there's no men speaking about it. Hey, you know, it's time, brother, to take up your accountability and responsibility. And this is why it's so important. I think this is why we need to challenge each other to be accountable for our actions and to become more responsible. And the world will be such a better place if we still start standing up. I don't know if Gordon and Jeremy agrees with me, but over to you, Sanet. Otherwise, I keep talking the whole time.
Now, I actually want to ask you about the Vikings. You say the principles, but before you tell us that, I can just say to you, my beautiful gentlemen, in South Africa, our biggest uh, black culture, if I can call it like that, is our Zulu nation, and then our second one is our Xhosas. You have to do the click in. And a lot of the men marry once because they are officially can marry one lady. So a lot of ladies on My Beautiful Diamond Beauties is also married to a husband, but she's the 8th or the 9th wife. But traditionally, he can marry more ladies. They slaughter a cow or an ox, depending on their status, and then they can marry more, and they have more children. And so can I tell you that men don't look after their children or well, it's not even ex-wife, it's their wife. It's traditionally they are married to this lady, so they don't look after them. A lot of ladies, that's why I always will have the group will always be for free. And I had one American lady that said to me, but Sanet, I wanted to give you our beautiful ladies this workshop for $5. And I said to her, $5 is about 5 loaves of bread for a South African single mom. And that bread is like 2 weeks of stable food for her and her children. So yeah, the lady said, oh, then she's in the wrong group, and she left the group, and it's okay. It's okay because I know that whatever God wants to for me and the ladies on the Diamond Beauties, it will be there. But I love that, Cobus, because for me, a big thing is all these men, I particularly mean the men in South Africa. I cannot say other places that just don't have one wife, but have a lot of wives and a lot of children. So please, can you tell us about your principles? And then I'm going to read the comments, and then I'm going to go to ask Jeremy for his wisdom, his last wisdom. Because can you believe it, gentlemen? Our show is almost finished. Yes, Cobus?
Yeah, thank you, Sanet. Yeah, you know, it's based on the following 9 virtues of a Viking, and one of them is to have heart. You know, it's all about heart, compassion, and passion. Then the next is to persevere, to never give up, and then to have honor, to live by honor, to have discipline in what you do, to constantly keep action, to be consistent in what you do, what you say, in your words, to live and speak by truth, but also be truthful to yourself, to have fidelity, that is in loyalty and family, and have courage. And for me, it also embodies to be fearless in your transformation and be courageous to take on the world, to create freedom not only for yourself but for your family, and to build a legacy that lasts for the next generations to come up and make a difference. And that's quickly in a nutshell.
So, my beautiful Cobus, how will you pronounce causes?
Close us. I can't do the click and click.
You have to put in the click. Okay, so let me quickly see who is giving us love. Somebody said, yeah, perfect blessed you for doing this. And then another one, it says, yes, sure, it's far and wide. Let's heal the world. Men and women together working the world peace and harmony. That is Kathy. And then Werner said, Amen, buddy. That's all. This came all in when you were speaking, Cobus. And then Jeremy also had an idea of vulnerability for masculine. Uh, Jeremy, tell us what you say there, please.
Yeah, so this is coming out of a lot of work with a lot of men in a lot of situations, especially bad ones with like weapons on the desk going to end themselves. And we're having a conversation and encouraging them to take a different course of action. And for a lot of masculine people, men and women, people who live in their masculine, being vulnerable is not a place where they find their power, their direction, their purpose. They find themselves, being vulnerable is a bad thing for a masculine person because it like Corvus said, with our identity and what our core nature is. So, however, we need to express what's going on and get that out of our system. So for masculine, instead of vulnerability, I'm finding raw, real, open, and honest will tend to bring more of the masculine out. And usually you'll have to filter through some anger first because there's just a back pressure of not being able to express. And just like so much that a masculine person has tamped down, held back, kept from everyone to protect them. And so to like be able to give voice to that, you usually will have a floodgate torrent of emotion and rage. And if you can weather that storm, then you can get to what's actually going on beneath it, because it's like, okay, cool, this really matters to you. And I understand you've been protecting a lot of people for a lot of time and holding back and biting down and sucking up a bunch of stuff. So what's really going on? And when you can get to that space of open, real, raw, and honest, all the defensiveness goes away, all the manipulation goes away, all the posturing goes away, because you actually start to see the little boy and you see the man and you see the king and you see the full dimension of that person in front of you. Then we can go clean up the stuff that's keeping us from either I'm too much or I'm not enough. Either way, I won't get love and I don't deserve to exist. And we can clean all that out. But if we just change that frame, because when you tell a man, a masculine person, be vulnerable, it's like, F you, who do you think you are? Like, you want to bend me over? Like, good luck. I'm going to break you. And so when you push on that kind of stuff, but it's like, dude, I appreciate your intensity. I've been that way too. What's going on? Like, let's throw. You want to throw the punch? I can take it. Let's go. What else? And when you can go toe to toe and be in that raw, real, open, and honest, everything opens up. And so I'm pushing to change the language in the conversation for men away from vulnerability. Not that vulnerability is wrong or bad, because a person in their feminine, and men can be in their feminine and be perfectly healthy and all the rest, but in your feminine, access to vulnerability is powerful because you can get to be real and open and raw and honest. It's the same, it's just different ways, 6 of one, half dozen of another. But it's what's going to align with someone's identity to give them, basically it's take away fault, blame, guilt, shame, take away the judgment. Let's just evaluate. It's like mental health, mental illness. It's a false dichotomy. What if it's all mental process and it's not a health illness battle? It's just you have a way of wiring yourself or being wired that it's giving you a result that you don't like. Cool. Well, what could we do to change that? And just that you're opening the frame so that it's looser and it's more malleable and changeable, right? This is how I take a kid, 3 years old, playing with scissors, yank the scissors away, they're going to freak out. But if you put your hand on the scissors to contain it, cover the sharp stabby point, and then you tickle them, energy can only be one place. And when you tickle, they get connection, they get this point of like giggle. And when they giggle, the energy goes to the side, their hands relax, then you can take the scissors away, continue to tickle them a little bit more, give them a little more connection. And now we've redirected, we've moved on. No battle of ego, no oppositional defiance, no disempowerment. There's all these labels that just go away because that wasn't your point anyway. The point was, I got to make sure my kid's safe. Cool. They're 3 that don't understand consequences. Awesome. Here's a ladder you can climb. It's much easier if you want to get on the roof. But a ladder in the kitchen, you're going to put holes in the ceiling. Cool. Use a chair in the kitchen, and we use a ladder outside. Chair outside, you're not going to get very far either. So right tool for the job. Yeah. So that's that framework around that for me.
Thank you so much, my beautiful Jeremy. Gordon, I think I will only have time for you to give us your last thoughts, because I cannot believe our time is up, and I have to ask you, gentlemen, if you would love to have a dance with me.
Happy to. You know what? Talking about what Jeremy was talking about, that reframe, because if I'm real, raw, and open, that is vulnerable. But some guys will push back on that word because they feel disempowered with that word, right? So being able to meet them where they are. As a suicide survivor myself, I didn't understand until I had that experience what that felt like in the moment and the perception. So I look at that. Papa gifted me that experience to be able to understand what deep depression and suicide look like from the inside as opposed to from the outside. And it was a whole whack of stuff you both have talked about that that I'm resonating with, and stuff's coming to mind. I'm like, oh, that's so cool, and oh, that's so cool. Even Cobus with his hair, I hadn't realized until he looked down to read his notes. We have the same hair, not just the beard. We have the same hair. But anyway, you and I will have to get together and have some conversation. But mental illness, mental health, I refer to it as mental awareness because there's so much underneath that umbrella that have nothing to do with mental health, mental illness that we need to be aware of. And if we can learn to control, the only thing we can is what we think and what we do. Control outside of that is an illusion. So, but nobody spends any time doing that. My pro athletes, I say, hey, you've got skill set, gear set, mindset. They spend lots of time on skill, lots of time on gear, but no time on their mindset. And so that one thing can nullify all the time and energy and money they've spent on the other stuff. So, not dropping into what Jeremy was talking about with people having a gun in front of them when they're talking. We talk about dropping pebbles in people's lives and having the ripple effect. Cobus talked about it too. And what happens when you stop anybody, guy or gal, from ending themselves in that moment? That's not a ripple you're talking about where now they're getting married or now they have children. That's not a ripple. It's a freaking tsunami because it literally flipped their life over. And what did it take? It took seconds, a blink of an eye to catch their attention and change their life, literally flip it over. And we can do that with a smile. We can do that with love and care. Cobus, you and I need to talk about hugging. I teach hugging and heart to heart as opposed to you and I need to talk, brother. We need to get together. And for your beard, I use a product from a company called The Beard Struggle. You need to write that down and look them up because their stuff is Viking. And they do some stuff with Movember. So let's talk about that because there's some really cool stuff in that company. It's Canadian, but we'll talk about that.
So, gentlemen, I just want to say thank you so much. Our time is up. And I think we must really have another conversation because there were a lot of questions that I still needed to ask that I asked the Diamond ladies to help me with, and we didn't get to that. But may I ask you, will you have a dance with me? Oh, thank you. Jeremy, will you have a dance? Oh, thank you. My beautiful ladies and gentlemen and my beautiful diamond beauties, please look after yourself, smile often, and will you have a dance with me? Here we go.
Walking on sunshine or dancing in the rain. Sprinkle me with fairy dust so I can fly away. Smiling at a moonbeam or squinting in the sun. Sprinkle me with fairy dust.
Bye-bye, everyone.